In my junior year of high school, I felt stuck. And I bet anyone here has felt stuck at some point in their high school life. For me, all I really did was just make sure I passed all my classes in my school year. And so that had changed when I watched an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience on YouTube. After I watched this podcast episode, which lasted for 3 hours, I was so inspired and motivated by the words he said. I believe the person that he was interviewing was actually Post Malone. Yeah. They were talking about music, and they were talking about all these things about life and everything. But mostly Joe Rogan was speaking during that podcast. And when he said the things he said really had pushed me to go ahead and move forth and do more than the least expected of what people are expecting out of me. So, Joe Rogan has motivated and inspired me to this day to do more than what people least expect of me. So before I go ahead and talk about how he's inspired me, let me talk about him, give you some background information. His real name isn't even Joe Rogan. His actual name is Joseph James Rogan. And he was born in New Jersey and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. In his childhood life and teenage years, he actually got an interest in martial arts and learned to do kickboxing, taekwondo, and even jiu-jitsu. According to Medium.com, he's actually a black belt in taekwondo, and he's won 4 state Massachusetts championships. It wasn't until 1988 where he had to retire from martial arts due to health problems. But that wasn't the end of Joe Rogan. His friends encouraged him to do stand-up comedy because he was so funny in his taekwondo class to his friends. And so Joe Rogan did that. He started doing stand-up comedy in Boston, Massachusetts. Typical Boston stand-up comedy. His first breakthrough in television was in 1994 when he starred in a show called Hardball on Fox. But that wasn't his first breakthrough. His biggest breakthrough was when he starred in 2001 Fear Factor show, which actually lasted for 6 seasons on NBC. His other biggest accomplishment, he became the color commentator for UFC Championship. To this day, he's still a commentator. Isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy. And I mentioned before about the podcast. He's still doing it to this day. Every day there's almost a podcast being up that lasts for an hour or 3 hours. Anyone that you can imagine, he's there with that person. And so, according to, I have a quote here that says, that really inspires me, actually. It says, according to goalcast.com, work for that feeling that you have accomplished something. Don't waste your time here on life not leaving a mark. Okay, so basically, that's pretty much about Joe Rogan. So for me, how he inspires and motivates me, I just, coming from one background to another, a total, complete different background really inspires me. It makes me feel that there's more than I can do even though I'm just coming from one background. That anything is really achievable as long as you put your effort into it. And yeah, that's about it.